All right, so everyone should have this written at the top of their page. Hashtag squad goals, create a drawing of a candy cane showing form and value. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is form. So basically, I'm going to draw a line here. You can do the same. I'm going to write shape versus form. And a little line down the middle. So what I need you guys to do is tell me the example of a shape and then the example of a form. Anyone? Katie?
An example of a shape is like a square.
Okay, and then a square that is a form is what? A cube. Good, just like we did in our first project. Looked like this. So a square and a cube. Good. What's another major difference between shape and form? Not an example, but what's a major difference, Ella?
Shape is like 2D and form is like 3D.
Perfect. Shape is 2D, two-dimensional, and form is 3D. So 2D means it's flat. It's just like a piece of paper. Okay? So you can hold it technically, but it's basically just two-dimensional. It's flat. You could put it in a picture frame. 3D is something that you can hold. This cube, would this fit in a picture frame?
No.
Nope. So something you can hold. And then when you guys are making art, so when you draw a shape, you would just be drawing something like a square. When you draw a form, you might make your cube having different angles. But what else can you do to make it appear as a form? Besides for the lines, what else can you add to it to make it appear three-dimensional? You can add value. So value is what? When you shade things. So value is like the lightness and darkness of a color. That's perfect. So I might make this the darkest, this medium, and you're just showing where the light is coming from. And this the lightest. Okay? So you might do that just to show value. And that helps objects look three-dimensional. Same with a sphere. So this circle can become a sphere really quickly just by adding shadows and highlights. You can also add a shadow down here on the ground. Okay? So those are the basic differences between shape and form. The next thing I'm going to have you guys do is just draw a line right down the middle of your paper. And just like we did with our Indian corn, we're going to do a quick pre-assessment and post-assessment. So just write pre-assessment on the left side. And then post-assessment. And you know that this is kind of a before drawing and this is an after drawing. So I'm going to set my timer for 2 minutes. And I want you to use 2 different colors of colored pencils to draw a candy cane on the left side in the pre-assessment. All right? So go ahead and begin. Draw the candy cane to the best of your ability, and then we will do it all together. All right. Finish. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not supposed to look perfect. It probably looks something like this with your stripes, and maybe you colored it in every other section. Okay? So what I'm going to talk about first is how to make this appear as a form. So appear like something that is actually three-dimensional, something that you can hold. What's something that I could do to this candy cane to make it appear to look like a form? White, like white on the front to show light? Good. So it'll show like a reflection maybe from the candy cane wrapper. What's something else?
You can do like the little circle thing, like instead of just making it flat.
Instead of this straight line here?
Yeah.
You can make like a little circle. Yeah, I don't know if you would actually see a circle, but you would definitely see like a rounded line here. So it'd be kind of like this smiley face. Good. Any other ideas?
Like you do a shadow.
You could do a shadow. Good. So we talked about the lighting, so making a reflection, making the edges rounded, and then maybe making a shadow. So when we do the post assessment together, I'm going to do it with a pencil first, and I'm basically just going to sketch the basic shape, so this upside down J shape. And I'm sketching it real lightly because this line is going to be erased. And after I sketch that, I'm going to outline it with a copycat line. So my copycat line needs to be the same distance away from that middle line. I'm just outlining this entire middle line that I drew. So I want it to be consistent. What does consistent mean? Anyone? The same, exactly. So I wanted your kernels on your Indian corn to be consistent. I wanted them to be the same size for the most part. So I want this to consistently be maybe a 1/2 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch away from this line. And then once I think I have that down, I'm going to erase that middle line. And I'm sketching nice and lightly because I want to erase most of these lines. And then once I'm done with that, not only are my lines at the ends of my candy cane rounded, but these lines separating the two different colors you're going to use should also have a slight curve to them. So whether you want to make it like a U shape or like a rainbow shape, it doesn't matter, but you want to have a slight curve to make it appear that it's going away from you. So I'm going to make mine a little bit of a rainbow curve. And again, these sections should also be consistent. So you don't want any too close to each other or too far away. You want it to be pretty consistent. And sometimes you have to play around with the placement of the lines because it gets a little bit weird around the crook of the candy cane. So even I mess that up sometimes and it looks kind of strange. So this is why we're practicing in our sketchbook first. And then after you have the placement is when we're going to start to add colors. So some of you guys mentioned adding the reflection or adding shadows, and we're going to do exactly that. So we're going to use colored pencils. You should have the colored pencils out in front of you. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to choose 2 complementary colors. So if here's my color wheel, and I have this color, it's like a reddish orange. How do you find the complement to that? If 2 colors are complementary colors, how do you find them, Julia? Not next to it, that's analogous colors. That's okay. Complementary colors are, think of complement, something that looks good together. Kalia? Across from each other, good. So this is red-orange. So if you go straight across from it, I have this blue-green, okay? So here's red. The complement to red is green. So it's whatever is straight across from it. So I'm going to use this color. It's blue-green. I'm going to use these 2 colors. So put your pencils down for 1 minute and just watch how I do this so that you guys can do the same thing successfully. So just like we did values in our pumpkins, we did lots of light layers. Remember the 2 L's, light and layers? So I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm using this pencil. Instead of writing or coloring with it like this, up and down, like how you write your name, you're going to hold it to the side, and you're just going to kind of use the side of the colored pencil to apply a really light layer. So I'm just going to do every other section with this red-orange color, and I'm doing a real light layer. And then we're going to create a second layer and a third layer for the medium and dark. So that's all I did. Now I want this white stripe down the middle to kind of show a reflection. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to keep using the side of my colored pencil, but add a little bit more pressure to make a medium value on the sides. And you want that medium value to gradually blend into that light value. You don't want to see a vast difference between the medium and the light. So make sure you're keeping that middle part a nice light value. And I'm using those same oval lines. Those oval lines help to make it overlap the layer before it. Give you a nice smooth transition. Okay, so for my darkest value, I'm going to hold my colored pencil upright, and I'm actually going to just like draw a line on the edge, clean that up a little bit, and then gradually blend the darkest value into the medium one. So you have 3 values, and in the very center of this candy cane is the lightest one. And a good trick to this is if you want to make sure that you're doing it well, look at it from far away. Maybe have your table partner hold it up and show it to you from far away to see how your values look, to make sure you're blending them nicely. Okay, so there's my first color. I'm going to do the exact same thing with my second color. Again, it helps to use a nice sharpened colored pencil, so use the pencil sharpeners that we have and sharpen that pencil in the cup. And then that's much better. Now I have a nice sharpened pencil that I can start my lightest layer with. So you guys can go ahead and begin coloring your candy cane. If you have not finished your fall still life, I need you to finish that now. So open up your table folders and make sure that you guys are working on your fall still life, cutting it out, and don't color anything, just cut it out and photograph it. Everyone needs to have those turned in today.